Attorney General Raoul, you may proceed with your opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Durbin. I'm honored to testify in front of you with my fellow state AG colleagues. 18 other colleagues have been engaged in the legal battles of our lives over the last 5 months. In anticipation of this crisis our nation faces, we began our preparation for this over a year ago. Today, I want to speak clearly and factually about 3 specific areas where the Trump administration's actions have had a deeply harmful impact: tariffs, education funding, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. At the outset, let me say that my office very commonly across different presidential administrations, including the first Trump administration, has worked in partnership with federal agencies on criminal matters, consumer protection matters, environmental matters, and I will continue to seek opportunities to do whatever is possible. Under the Constitution and under federal law, the president has enormous power. But in our democracy, there are limits on that power. And we have challenged instances where the administration has clearly crossed the line.
Thank you. Attorney General Raoul, in Illinois v. FEMA, you and 19 other Democratic AGs sued to block new Department of Homeland Security conditions that unlawfully tie emergency management and disaster relief funding to state immigration actions. As the leading state in this lawsuit, can you talk about why this case is so important?
In Illinois, as in many Midwestern states, we have tornadoes that have devastating impacts in central Illinois. What connection that has with the immigration enforcement when families are looking for help from their federal and state government to respond to emergencies? None. And just as we've acted in other matters where, again, the administration has acted inconsistent with federal law, with the laws that you all have put in place in Illinois v. FEMA, the administration has done it again, trying to leverage their goal of having an aggressive immigration enforcement, or trying to leverage the need that communities have when responding to emergencies to advance their immigration agenda. I think it's, again, unconscionable and it's unlawful.
Thank you.
I just wonder if you would say a word about what it means to you to be an attorney general and to try to act on behalf of the rule of law and not a political program. Perhaps Attorney General Raoul, if you'd start.
Thank you for that question. I serve as the Attorney General of the state of Illinois, and in Illinois, I am independently elected from the governor, and by way of that, I serve the rule of law. I don't serve the governor.
The Attorney General's duties include advocating for the people of Illinois, working with the General Assembly to push for new legislation, and litigating to ensure that state laws are followed. In addition, the state's Attorney General Act specifies several duties, including represent the people of Illinois before the Supreme Court where the state or the people of the state are interested parties, prosecute all proceedings and actions in favor of the state, defend state officers acting in their official capacities in any actions or proceedings against them, consult with and advise the state's attorneys, investigate violations of all statutes that the Attorney General has a duty to enforce, advise the governor and other state officers, and give written opinions on legal or constitutional matters when requested, give written opinions to the General Assembly or any of its committees when requested, prepare drafts of contracts in which the state is interested, attend, present evidence to, and prosecute indictments by the statewide grand jury, ensure the proper allocation of funds appropriated to public institutions, and prosecute breaches of trust, The Attorney General also oversees the Public Access Counselor, which is responsible for enforcing the state's Freedom of Information Act and Open Meetings Act.
Governor, I do represent the governor, I represent the agencies within state, but I serve the rule of law. And I take that distinction very seriously. And I think that the U.S. Attorney General should operate with the same sort of, she shouldn't be loyal to the president, but she should be loyal to the rule of law. That does not mean you're not representing the government and the administration, but you have to do so within the bounds of the rule of law, and we take that very seriously.
Is there any one of you who would describe your job as being the governor's lawyer?
I disagree with the interpretation of the Ninth Circuit with regards to basically rendering the governor's power of having the power to consent to the activation of the Guard in our respective states. I've been in touch with our governor with regards to our preparation in the state of Illinois. Unfortunately, the Trump administration has politicized his prioritization of states that are being targeted for aggressive immigration enforcement based on party affiliation, not on general immigration policy. We continue.
He is not the best speaker. Maybe his law is better. Let's see.
Try to litigate the best we can. And if I could touch on your prior question for a moment, I think there's limitation in what we can do by way of the courts. And I, as Attorney General, I have to acknowledge that. And I have a young daughter who is a rising 3L, and I've asked her to pay attention to the words of Chief Justice Roberts as he spoke to Georgetown law students and cautioned them that the rule of law is under threat.
Wonder when that started.
And that we need to enhance our civics education. I think what the Chief Justice was talking about is that, yes, we've had some successes, that we have had some successes in the courts, but we're not going to be able to achieve everything in the courts. And we've got to educate the public at large as to our Constitution, the basics of our Constitution, not make constitutional scholars out of them, but understand the basics such that the people can speak and resist a president who says he doesn't know whether or not he has to follow the Constitution. I was born to a Haitian immigrant mother who was not yet naturalized at the time of my birth, so I am a birthright citizen. And I know that there are many like me who've contributed to this country, including more recent birthright citizens. Fundamentally, the language in the 14th Amendment, it goes beyond just the topic of birthright citizenship. The language in the 14th Amendment is plain.
Following the Civil War, Congress submitted to the states 3 amendments as part of its Reconstruction program to guarantee equal civil and legal rights to Black citizens. A major provision of the 14th Amendment was to grant citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, thereby granting citizenship to formerly enslaved people.
And this was one of our very first lawsuits. And to the extent that the administration is going to violate a constitutional amendment that is so clear in its language, we are very much threatened in every subject matter area. The judge, as it was, I believe it was mentioned earlier, spoke about, I think it was Ranking Member Raskin mentioned, how any lawyer could come in and present an argument with regards to it. But he also said it was just blatantly unconstitutional.
The part they are neglecting, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. The phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof refers to individuals or entities that are under the legal authority of a particular government or legal system. In the context of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, It establishes that individuals born in the U.S. are citizens, provided they are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, meaning they owe allegiance to it and are not under the jurisdiction of any foreign power. This phrase excludes certain groups, such as members of Native American tribes, from U.S. jurisdiction. Essentially, being subject to the jurisdiction means that a legal entity, like a court or government, has the right to enforce its laws against a person.
The language of the 14th Amendment is clear. If you're born here, you're a citizen here.
As he is proclaiming to be a law professional, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, cannot be excluded, which is what appears to be what is happening here.
Mr. Chairman,